Episode 43. Tanhua had taken a deep breath before she and Nanshen began to walk through the dark haunted house. When Tanhua walked, she could vaguely see the interior of the haunted house. Somehow, this house really looked like a real house but with an eerie atmosphere. Currently, she and Nanshen were walking down a long, creepy corridor heading nowhere. Tap, tap, tap. Nanshen actually felt rather scared after he saw how mysteriously scary this house was, so he suddenly increased his speed, trying to get out of the house as soon as possible. Now he felt like an idiot for insisting on following Mishu here. This house was indeed scary. Big bro, don't walk too fast. Tanhua, seeing Nanshen walking fast in front of her, felt anxious. She was afraid Nanshen would leave her. Looking at the dire situation, Tanhua decided to throw all her pride away. Grab. Tanhua then very shamelessly put her hands around Nanshen's waist, afraid that he would leave her alone. This boy. Don't hug me, little Huo. Nanshen tried to shove Tanhua aside as the two of them walked down the dark corridor, but Tanhua still refused to let go of Nanshen's waist, making Nanshen unable to walk properly. Oh no, Nanshen walked too fast. What if he left her alone here? Or they were separated? That would be a nightmare. Tanhua subconsciously tightened her hands around Nanshen's waist as she walked while bending her back. Lil Ho, can you let me go? It's hard to walk like this. Nanshen, who felt awkward being hugged by a man, was pushing Tanhua's head away when suddenly he heard noises coming from behind. Srak. Lil Ho, do you hear that sound? While still walking, Nanshen turned his head around and asked the trembling Tanhua about the noise he just heard. Could it be the ghost would appear now? No, I don't hear anything. Tanhua obviously heard noises just like Nanshen, but she pressed her head to Nanshen's body while tightening her grip on Nanshen's waist to distract herself from her fear. No, she didn't hear anything and would not see anything too. Oi, Lil Huo, don't hug me. Nanshen once again felt ticklish from Tanhua's head on his stomach. He was about to push Tanhua when he saw how Tanhua had clung onto his body like a koala, never letting go. This boy is really afraid? Nanshen's hands stopped in the air when he saw Tanhua's body trembling, while her hands kept hugging his waist. This is also his fault for asking this boy to come to the haunted house, even though this boy is scared of ghosts and such. Nanshen sighed, and was about to pat Tanhua's back to soothe her when suddenly, he felt someone grab his butt from behind, even though there was no one behind him. Little Huo, don't grab my butt. Nanshen thought Tanhua was the one grabbing his butt, but then Tanhua raised her head with teary eyes and a shaking voice. I didn't touch your butt. My hand is always on your wah! Tanhua hadn't finished her sentence when she too felt someone blow air on her neck, instantly giving her goosebumps. Big bro, someone blew on my neck! Tanhua didn't think twice before jumping onto Nanshen, pushing him to the ground, while she herself curled into a ball yet still hugged Nanshen's body. Bruck! Little f. Nanshen couldn't see anything clearly, and could only vaguely see Tanhua pushing him down. He was about to scold this scaredy cat when, in the next moment, he felt someone pull his leg. Yeah. This time, Nanshen was just as scared as Tanhua when he finally felt the terror of this haunted house. He thought he would see fake ghosts everywhere. But he only felt like he was being bullied, even though there was no one here. Nanshen also felt scared now, and he didn't think twice before hugging Tanhua back while shivering in fear. He couldn't move. His body wouldn't move. Damn it. Who touched his butt and pulled his leg? Tanhua and Nanshen didn't realize that at this time, the two of them were sitting on the ground while hugging each other, looking exactly like little squirrels. Big bro, let's go out now from the entrance. I can't take it anymore. Tanhua felt a little bit safe when Nanshen hugged her back, but then she couldn't move. Just now, she felt someone tugging her wig. That's it, she had had enough. This haunted house is indeed haunted. Little Huo, I can't move. Nanshen once again felt someone blow air on his ears, making his grip on Tanhua's body tighten. She felt someone blow air. This house, is it really haunted? Now Nanshen finally felt the fear Tanhua had upon entering this haunted house. He really wanted to run away and go out through the door he entered, but he was so scared that his body wouldn't move. Damn it. This house is scary. Nanshen and Tanhua were still hugging each other tightly when suddenly, Tanhua felt someone grab her shoulder from behind, while whispering in her ear. Got you. The voice was so eerily low that upon hearing it, Tanhua instantly peed her pants. Ghost! Jah! Tanhua was so scared that she accidentally pushed Nanshen's head to the ground, instantly causing him to hit his head on the hard floor. Nanshen didn't even know what happened. All he felt was the cold floor and the pain in his head, immediately making his vision blur. Back! Nanshen instantly passed out. Big bro. Tanhua, who was so scared after hearing the eerie whisper, hadn't realized that Nanshen had passed out, so she kept shaking his body, trying to make Nanshen her living shield, but Nanshen didn't move. Boss, wake up! She is so scared. Don't leave her behind. This time, when Tanhua was trying to wake Nanshen, she suddenly heard the sound of something scratching the floor, which made her flinch as tears began to wet her cheeks. What is that now? Very suddenly, with a swash, a figure of a very ugly monster appeared in front of Tanhua, showing its sharp teeth. Faint, Tanhua only saw how scary the creature was before she fainted out of shock, foam flooding out from her mouth, scaring the monster. Deh. What happened? Hey, someone passed out. Medic, help! The so-called monster, which was actually a human wearing a very good costume, immediately took off his costume. The monster then hurriedly called the medical team for Tanhua and Nanshen, who were already passed out on the floor. Immediately after, the haunted house area was crowded with the medical team. Not only that, but people also found out that there were 2 men who went inside the house and came out unconscious. Thankfully, Mishu and Renyuan had already gone to another area, so they didn't know about this commotion. 1 p.m. What do we do now? It's 1 p.m. already. Nanshen, who had just woken up a few minutes ago, panicked when he saw his wristwatch. He didn't know how he passed out earlier in the haunted house, but it was already 1 p.m. Mishu and Renyuan must have left the amusement park. Well, just go to their next destination. Aren't they going shopping and then watching a movie? Tanhua, who had also just woken up, desperately covered her wet pants with the blanket provided in the room where she and Nanshen were being treated. Right? Let's grab bread for lunch and go to the mall now. Otherwise, we won't be able to tail them again. Nanshen massaged his aching head. This is weird. He wasn't that scared to the point of passing out because of a ghost, so how did he end up fainting? He was sure this boy was here because he fainted out of fear. But he wasn't that cowardly to faint just because of a fake ghost. Little Huo, do you know why I fainted? Nanshen got down from the bed as he approached Tanhua, who was flustered over her wet pants. It seemed that she had peed her pants out of fear earlier. This is super embarrassing. No, I don't know anything, but big bro help me. Tanhua's face turned red from embarrassment after Nanshen mentioned why he fainted. Well, it was obviously her doing, but she would never admit it, so let's change the topic. What? What do you need help with? Nanshen instantly forgot his question when he heard Tanhua ask for help. Could it be his little bro had an injury anywhere? That would be bad. I peed my pants. With a face as red as a tomato, Tanhua meekly informed Nanshen about this embarrassing fact. She had to tell him. She had to get new pants after all, and Nanshen would be the one who could pay for it. What? What? You wet your pants? Again? Are you a child? Before you wet my bedsheet, and now you're wetting your pants. Let's go to the mall now. You need new pants. Nanshen immediately dragged Tanhua to find a taxi and as quickly as possible went to the mall. Hopefully, Mishu and Renyuan were also there, so he could tail them as well while buying new pants for this kiddo. At the mall. Hey Huo. After this, those 2 will watch a romance movie at the cinema, and we have to follow them too. Nanshen rubbed his chin while looking at Tanhua, who was choosing pants for herself. Yeah, and so? Tanhua didn't even suspect anything, as she chose the right size of pants she needed. It would be weird for 2 guys to watch a romance movie. We may be seen as gay. Nanshen had an evil grin as he spoke. Oh, you are right. So, what do we do? Still choosing pants, Tanhua only shrugged her shoulders casually, not knowing that she would soon become a sacrificial lamb. You become a girl. You become a girl, that way we will look like a couple instead. Nanshen very suddenly and shamelessly ordered Tanhua to disguise as a girl so that they could tail Mishu smoothly. Prack. The moment Tanhua heard this, she subconsciously dropped the pants she was holding onto the floor, with her jaw opened wide enough to fit an egg. What did this idiot say? Become a girl? Big bro, are you kidding? Why do I have to? Tanhua laughed awkwardly, trying to change Nanshen's mind, but then Nanshen suddenly grabbed Tanhua's wrist and started to drag her to the women's clothing section. You have to become a girl, little Huo. Otherwise, you and I will be gossiped about as being gay. I can't disguise as a girl with my handsome face, but you can. With your petite body and that slightly feminine face, you can disguise as a girl. Nanshen energetically coaxed Tanhua, so she would agree to disguise as a girl in order for them to tail Mishu and Renyuan when they watched the romance movie. Nanshen never thought at all how Tanhua, the boy whom he adopted to be his little brother, was actually already a girl. Telling her to disguise as a girl now would only mean letting her show her true appearance. This was what made Tanhua very reluctant to do it. She had her true gender known by that Lan guy, and now Nanshen wanted her to disguise as a girl. What if he saw how normal she was when she disguised as a girl? Wouldn't he start to doubt her true gender? He would, right? The big bro, but I'm a man. I don't want to cross-dress. Tanhua, believing that she must never dress like a girl in front of Nanshen, tried her best to avoid this calamity. She must not dress up like a girl in front of Nanshen, no matter what the cost. Yeah, I know, but this is important for your reputation and my reputation. You want everyone to see us as a gay couple? If you don't want that, then just follow me and dress up like a girl. Don't worry, you will look good in girl clothes, I guarantee that. Nanshen happily patted Tanhua's back when they arrived at the women's clothing section. Looking at the row of women's clothes in front of her, Tanhua had the urge to faint. She really loved all these clothes, and now she had a chance to try them on, but why the hell did she have to do it for this big idiot? Looking at Nanshen's expression, it was clear that she couldn't refuse anymore. Even though Nanshen had now become her big brother, he was still her boss, so how could she refuse his request? If it's like this, she had to follow his wish. Wait, or should she run away now? But wouldn't Nanshen get angry at her? What should she do? While Tanhua was debating whether she should run away now or not, Nanshen had finished telling the clerk to do a complete makeover for the poor Tanhua. Nanshen asked for a wig, dress, shoes, bag, and even makeup for a complete makeover. Little Huo, go there now. After discussing with the clerk, Nanshen grabbed Tanhua by her back collar again and tossed her to the clerk so that she could have a makeover to change into a girl. Wait, big brew. Tanhua was about to run away after thinking again when the clerk suddenly grabbed her by her back collar and very casually dragged her away to polish her into a beautiful princess. Tanhua, big bro! Seeing Tanhua's face, which had turned into a dejected lamb, Nanshen only flashed a smile while waving his hair, encouraging Tanhua that she would look beautiful enough as a girl after the makeover. Good luck, little Huo. Nanshen sat down on a chair near the store as he smiled sweetly toward Tanhua, who was already about to cry out of frustration. B-Boss Nan made her into a sacrificial lamb. The poor Tanhua could only obediently let the clerk do anything to transform her into a real girl. 1 hour later, Tanhua had switched her man wig with a new woman wig. The wig was long and wavy with black color, which was quite cute on Tanhua. On her hair, the clerk put a silver sakura hairpin to match the season, spring. Not only that, but Tanhua also wore the newest purple line dress from the store, coupled with purplish high heels and a clutch bag. The clerk also didn't forget to put a thin, natural makeup on Tanhua's face and made her wear black contact lenses, making her look completely different from her usual appearance. Even the clerk herself couldn't recognize Tanhua at first, after her makeover was done. If the previous Tanhua looked like a cute boy, the current Tanhua looked like an elegant lady from a rich family. This is a masterpiece. Tack, tack, tack. Oh, little Huo, how is it? Oh, little Huo, how is it? Nanshen, who heard the sound of Tanhua's high heels hitting the floor, turned his head around to look at her new appearance, but what he saw made his heart skip a beat. Bathump. Who is that? Who is that beautiful woman walking toward him? That white skin, big watery eyes, black wavy hair? Is that a goddess? Tech. Tech. Tanhua was currently carefully walking out from the room where she got her makeover, approaching Nanshen, who was sitting not far from her place. She was focusing on her feet, trying not to fall down while wearing high heels, so she didn't see Nanshen's expression when he saw her new appearance. Nanshen had his jaw drop to the floor the moment he saw Tanhua walk out from the room, looking completely different from her previous appearance until he doubted whether it was the Tanhua he knew or not. This woman. It mustn't be Tanhua. It's impossible. Tanhua? Little Huo, is that you? Nanshen's hand trembled as he tried to reaffirm whether the beautiful woman in front of him was truly Tanhua, who had disguised as a girl. Yeah, it's me. Tanhua tilted her head after she got used to her new high heels, still completely oblivious to Nanshen's confusion. When Nanshen knew for sure the one in front of him was Tanhua, he nearly slumped into the chair, looking extremely shocked. Haha, is this a joke? This beautiful woman in front of him? Is that silly boy? Tanhua? Impossible. Is the world about to end now? Nanshen rubbed his eyes a few times and looked again at Tanhua, who was standing quietly in front of him, trying to prove that his eyes had a problem or something, but no matter how many times he rubbed his eyes, the Tanhua he saw was still this Tanhua. Impossible. How could a man become this beautiful? Isn't the transformation a bit... No, a lot too shocking? This Tanhua was even more beautiful than Mishu. Big bro? How is it? Am I weird? Tanhua, who saw Nanshen had a blank face and was looking at her with weird eyes, felt anxious for no reason. Was it weird after all? The makeover, was it weird until Nanshen looked at her as if seeing the world's 7 wonders? Tanhua's expression turned solemn and dejected when she asked this. She looked exactly like a cute puppy who was abandoned by its master. Nanshen, who saw this, had his heart pierced by 1,000 arrows. This boy, how could he be so damn cute? Even more, he is in a girl's appearance. He looks several thousand times cuter than usual. Nanshen nearly couldn't control his hand from pulling Tanhua and hugging her tight, seeing her dejected expression with those imaginary dog ears on her head. Damn! Don't make that expression. It's fatal, you know? Fatal. No. It's not weird. It's just too good. Nanshen kneaded his forehead, trying to calm his chaotic heart for a while. After all, the makeover made Tanhua look exactly like a beautiful girl from a rich family. Nanshen couldn't even see Tanhua as a boy again now. The power of makeup is really frightening. Nanshen took a deep breath a few times to calm down his heart, which had been beating faster for the past few minutes. Calm down, Nanshen, calm down. Tanhua is a boy. A boy. It's only that the makeup is too frighteningly good. It's only the makeup. Nanshen tried to look at Tanhua again after making sure he was calm, but then when he saw Tanhua smiling innocently at him without saying anything, his heart was squeezed tight again. Squeeze! Gah, damn it, Tanhua, it's not fair. Now. Nanshen suddenly felt his face grow hot. Not only that, but maybe his face had also turned red like a steamed crab by now. Fuck makeup. How could it make this silly boy become this beautiful? It's all that clerk's fault for making Tanhua too beautiful. Isn't this counted as fraud? Nanshen's face had indeed already turned red, seeing Tanhua's beautifully enchanting smile, and his calm heart turned chaotic again in a mere second. He is weird today. This isn't like him at all. Big bro? Seeing Nanshen, who was taking a deep breath and had his face turned slightly red, Tanhua put her hand on Nanshen's forehead, worried that he might be sick. But unfortunately, her thoughtful move was trouble for the poor Nanshen. Bath up, bath up, bath up. I'm all right. Nanshen's body flinched when he felt Tanhua's cold hand on his forehead, and he subconsciously walked backward out of embarrassment. Don't suddenly touch him. His heart would explode. Nanshen's whole face was red, but he tried hard to fan his face to cool down the heat he felt. Nanshen turned his back abruptly as he told Tanhua to quickly follow him while grabbing her wrist. Grab. Let's go now. Nanshen lowered his head, feeling like he couldn't look at Tanhua's eyes as he grabbed her wrist and started to walk away to the cinema. Okay, big bro? With a smile, Tanhua quickly followed after Nanshen to the cinema. Nanshen and Tanhua didn't know at all that their play, pretending to be a couple to tail after Mishu, was seen by someone. At the same time when this happened, someone not far from Tanhua and Nanshen's place saw this scene when Nanshen took Tanhua's hand and walked away from the store. Young master? Going out with a beautiful girl? Is this a miracle? Wait, master and madam have to know. The man who saw Tanhua and Nanshen as a couple excitedly went away from the place and made a phone call to the so-called master and madam. Back to Nanshen and Tanhua. While Tanhua was walking beside Nanshen, for some reason a lot of people in the mall were looking at her while whispering to each other, making Tanhua anxious. Big bro, a lot of people are looking at me. My makeover is weird after all, right? Tanhua tugged Nanshen's sleeve while looking dejected. Those people were whispering to each other after they saw her. Was her transformation really that weird? Maybe because she was weird in this kind of clothes, those people were looking at her. Tanhua knew her face in this world wasn't as beautiful as her original body, not to mention that this body she used had almost never worn women's clothes again for a few years. Tanhua felt not confident with her own appearance. She thought people were looking at her because she was weird, and because she was walking beside Nanshen, who was as handsome as hell. Maybe they thought she wasn't suitable to be beside Nanshen? Just when Tanhua was feeling down, a big hand landed on her head, delivering warmth and a weird sense of calmness. You are not weird. Instead, because you are so beautiful, they are curious to know your true identity. Still not able to look at Tanhua's eyes, Nanshen patted Tanhua's head for a second before retracting it again, acting as if nothing ever happened. Okay, he did this not because of anything. It was just because he hated seeing little Huo's dejected face. That's it. No ulterior motive. Nanshen's cheeks blushed a little after he comforted Tanhua with a gah. He used to find it easy to pat little Huo's head, but now that he wore women's clothes, he couldn't do so as easily as before. This little Huo really looks like a real woman. Is it possible? Look at little Huo's legs. They were so skinny like a woman's legs. His waist, his hips, also looked like a normal woman's. Could it be? Nanshen began to suspect whether Tanhua was actually a girl. Because looking at her, having become this beautiful, it was kinda weird for a real man to transform like this. Why didn't he think like that before? There was a chance that little Huo is a girl. Nanshen was so immersed in his suspicion that he didn't realize he had subconsciously taken Tanhua's hand again and held it as if it was something normal. For Nanshen, who was busy with his deduction, holding hands wasn't weird, but for Tanhua, it was a shocking event. Boss, what are you doing? If before, Nanshen only took Tanhua by her wrist, then now he really did hold her hand just like what a normal couple did. This made Tanhua feel self-conscious. Ba-thump, ba-thump, ba-thump. Sensing the warmth in her hand the grip Nanshen had, Tanhua's heart suddenly started to beat fast. Her body temperature rose, and she suddenly felt her hand become sweaty. This again? What happened to her? Why the hell, every time she was with Nanshen, would her heart beat so fast, as if it would explode any time? She would find it difficult to breathe, and her heart felt like someone squeezed it tight. Her body would feel hot, and all of a sudden, she would become sweaty. Don't tell her she had a weird disease? Author die. Tanhua was doubting her health, and thus she completely forgot to release her hand from Nanshen's hand. The same happened with Nanshen. He was too busy trying to gather evidence about Tanhua possibly being a girl, so he too casually held Tanhua's hand until they arrived at the cinema. Inside the cinema, Nanshen and Tanhua had booked the ticket for this romance movie, but one thing they didn't understand. It turned out that the seats in the cinema were special, maybe because the ticket was also super expensive. If usually, seats in a cinema would be for one person each, these seats were for two people. There wasn't any block between them, so it was just like they were sitting on a normal sofa outside the cinema. Mishu and Renyuan also sat on this kind of seat, and their seat was 3 rows in front of Tanhua and Nanshen's seat. Big bro this. Tanhua felt a little bit uncomfortable when she sat beside Nanshen. This seat was kinda small, so when they sat side by side, her left arm would touch Nanshen's arm. This was kinda dangerous, wasn't it? Bear with it. I know this is uncomfortable, but we have to keep our eyes on those two. This is a crucial moment for Renyuan and Mishu. After all, the seat is made for a couple. Nanshen, not realizing that he was already seen as a couple with Tanhua, told Tanhua about this fact he knew. That cunning Renyuan would for sure do something while the movie was playing. After all, in this dark and small place, sitting next to each other, any kind of immoral action could be done. Nanshen never thought he and Tanhua could also be included in the category of someone who would maybe accidentally do something immoral during the movie. Okay. Hearing Nanshen's answer, Tanhua tried her best to make a little distance between her and Nanshen. Actually, she also felt nervous because the skirt of her one-piece dress was kinda short. It was only a few centimeters above her knee.